So today what I'm going to be talking about is weak men, and one of the things the strong men have to provide, which is protection. Protection. Now this is not going to look like what you think it looks like as far as combat or things like that. This is not that conversation. We're not talking about the physical right now. We're talking about leadership. Leadership. And this is not a seminar or anything like that. I'll tell you exactly what this is inspired by, but I'm not going to post any pictures or get too deep into it, because when it comes to the fan bases of these people, I don't want any smoke. So most of what I'll be saying is going to be general, but it's going to be inspired by this because this is what I've seen. So A$AP Rocky and Rihanna are together. They have 2 children. They decided, from what the media says, to have a all pink party for their son. All pink. And you could just say it's just a color, that's cool. They have a picture with the son at the all pink party with the parents and one of Rihanna's best friends, who I'm not going to name, but he's a gay man, and the son sitting on a gay man's lap. Now, I don't want to get too deep into that situation. We're not even going to unpack that. The only thing I will say, and what truly inspired this, to me, just everything about that is a little unsettling. I'm not going to lie to you. But what really did it for me is the men and women making excuses for all of it and acting like there is nothing wrong with any part of that at all. And we won't get into that specifically. If you think nothing is wrong with that at all, any part of that, shout out to you. Give yourself a pat on the back. Go get you a Sunny D. Pour it in a glass, whatever you got to do. Like, shout out to you. Congratulations. I'm not about to debate with you. That's not what's about to happen. But I want to say, in a general sense, I have seen things like this happen, and I have seen things like this excused. But with that being said, I'm not even going to give other examples. We are just going to get into the general of this. So as a man, one of the things that you are supposed to do is be a protector. The other thing that you are supposed to be is a leader. You've seen how I said women can be liabilities to some men and things like that. You've seen that video. If you haven't, you should go and watch it. But the thing about that is, a lot of women aren't the best decision makers. Why? Because they have emotional brains. They feed into their emotions. A lot of them don't process things logically. That doesn't mean there are no women who process things logically, but most don't when their emotions are involved. So that's just what it is. So with that being said, as far as you were supposed to lead. But this is the thing, because we in this space always talk about just men and women. People rarely talk about family when you were supposed to make a family. One of the things, as far as when a woman selects you, what she should be concerned about is not just can you protect her, but if you have kids, are you going to stand up for your kids? Are you going to protect your kids? And even then, as a man, if you have a son or a daughter, the mom is going to be raising the kids and things like that. But even when it comes to being a role model for the boy, are you going to be a good role model? Are you going to be somebody that the boy can emulate, that the boy can look at and be proud of? Are you going to be somebody who steers their son in the right direction? Are you going to get him prepared for this world? Those are concerns that a woman should have. In most cases nowadays, they don't. It's just about who can drop the D the best. And oh man, the D is so amazing. Let's see how it is. Raw, take that condom off. Oh man, now I'm having your son. Wait a minute, you don't want it. Or oh man, fuck you. You a fuck boy. I'm gonna be single during the pregnancy. Fuck you. You know, that's where we're at now. But all of that aside, that is what a man is supposed to do. A man is supposed to protect and lead. You know, those two things. And even with a daughter, the same thing, man. Is he going to protect her from other boys? Is he going to instill the values in her that is going to help her be a air quote high value woman in the future as far as the rest of her life and things like that? Is he going to screen the men that come through? Is he going to be able to protect her from the men if the men, you know, actually wild out and things like that? Because when you look at that, those things are not a mother's job. That is not a mother's job. That is a father's job, and it is a man's job. That's just what it is. So with that being said, that's the foundation of what a man is supposed to be in a household and in a relationship. Now, the thing about this is when it comes to women, again, they are very emotional. When it comes to women, they like to feed into their emotions. They like to feed into their impulses and make impulsive decisions. They're the people buying the shit off of QVC on the TV, bro. They're the ones who are fueling the consumer economy. They buy way more than men. That's how come on Father's Day, they still advertise to women. That is just what it is. So when we look at this, we'll talk about daughters first in this hypothetical, you know, conversation, this general conversation that I'm having with you. So when we look at someone, let's say a single mom, for example, because this is where shit goes off the rails, right? When a woman doesn't have that protection and leadership, that's where things go off the rails. So when you look at a single mom, let's pretend this single mom has, you know, the trauma and things like that that have led to her being a wild, flagrant hoe. But let's also throw in, you know, some of the, like, you know, some chicken broth. The chicken broth would be feminism. Let's throw that in there. And all of this like anti-slut shaming. Ooh, you're a liberated woman because you're selling your pussy. Let's throw all of that in the pot, right? Just mix it up. Give it a fine mix. Let it boil. Let it simmer. Put the lid on it. Let it simmer for turn the heat down. Let it simmer for a good 20 minutes. This woman is now a mom. She is the mom of a daughter. When it comes time for the daughter to come of age, do you think that the whole mom who engages in whole culture and just loves every piece of it and thinks she's liberated, do you think she's going to instill values in that girl that are going to keep her from becoming like her? Absolutely not, because she doesn't see what's wrong with what she's doing. And there is nobody in her life that can point to her and tell her what you're doing is wrong and you need to change, and just hold her hand through the way. And even then, the thing about that is hoes don't want to be saved. So with that being said, what's going to happen? There's situations where, you know, the girl actually looks at the mom, resents the mom, and it becomes the complete opposite of the mom. Honestly, let me just be honest with you. I've seen that multiple times. Wild mothers, the daughters turn out to be mad conservative, and it's not because of how they were raised. It's because they resent their mom so much and just the life that they had to live. They see certain things and they like, I'm not going to be that. But in some cases, the women lean into it. In some cases, The chicks turn 21. The mom is 36, 38, somewhere in that ballpark. The mother and the daughter are going to the club together. I'm not even going to go on the dude side of this shit. Matter of fact, I have to. I actually have to. I wasn't going to, but I have to. When you look at this type of woman as well, we see the thing with OnlyFans and stuff like that. To do OnlyFans is different than stripping, because with stripping, you could just really, okay, you live in fucking whatever city on the outskirts, you could go into Miami, you could strip or whatever, and then you come back to the outskirts, or you just go, let's say you live in a small town, you go to another small town an hour and a half away and you strip there far away from your community. So you could lay low with that, right? You could lay low with that. But when it comes to OnlyFans and things like that, you have to do a lot of promotion. So I say that to say, if the woman has this whole reputation going around, there has been instances where the kids at the school find out the buddy's mom does porn. He then becomes the butt of jokes. He then gets bullied, etc., etc. I've seen somebody come to the YouTuber Soluminati about their mom being on OnlyFans and them getting teased and them wanting to commit suicide. And Soluminati is such a troll. He just wanted the link to when and the guy paid him for this consultation. He paid him for like a mental health consultation. And the dude pretty much exploited him like that and then put his story out there. He put his story out there. So it's supposed to be a private conversation. And this is why you only fuck with professionals for things like that. But that's neither here nor there. That's not what we do over here. We're not getting into YouTuber talk. But there was another situation where, the boy came and brought that to his mother and said, yo, the kids are bullying me at school. They found it. She just said, you'll be all right. And kept doing her thing and kept sucking cock on the internet. You have another chick who was on, I think, Piers Morgan, I'm pretty sure. And she said, her kids in the future could wipe their tears with money in a Ferrari. So that's what happens when you leave women to their own devices and they're engaging in destructive behavior. Those are just examples. This is why when you look at the single father statistics versus the single mother statistics, single father households are much better because men are much more level-headed than women. And even then, single father households are actually on par with, two-parent households as far as statistics. So that shows you how important a father is for leadership, protection, provision, things of that nature. But what about when the man is a weak man? What about when you have a two-parent household and the man is a weak man that is a pushover, that lets the wife run everything, that lets her lead? He doesn't lead. He doesn't provision. He doesn't protect anything. He just goes with everything that she says. He goes out on a whim, or even worse, he's the same as her. He has the same type of brain. He feeds into his emotions and things like that. And they just think just a bunch of bullshit. They make bad decisions. What about when you have a guy like that? Well, it's the equivalent to having a single mom that actually does everything on a whim and just feeds into her impulses and things of that nature. It's equivalent to having a single mom that is very self-indulgent, et cetera, et cetera. And it makes you wonder why he's there. Why he's there. When you see things like what I mentioned at the top of the video, the whole Rihanna situation, you see women coming and saying things like, it's not hurting anybody. What's wrong with it? Everything is good as long as the love is there, as long as they love them, et cetera, et cetera. This is the thing I am going to say. When children aren't protected, when you have that naivete, it leaves room for bad things to happen that are life transforming. I'll say it again. It leaves room for things to happen that will transform that child for the rest of their life until they're 80. Now, I'm not saying that's the case here, but the thing I'm saying is there's too much leniency for me personally, which is not my situation. Everybody can do whatever they want in their situation. But when I see it, to me, it's unsettling. That's just what it is. So with that being said, y'all have a good day. Let me know your thoughts.